Hello everybody, welcome to Law Made Simple and Comprehensive. Today I would like us to do revision on skills course for law students SCL1501. We're going to be using the 2021 questions. Let's get on with it. I would like to believe that you are able to see, or maybe I should just try to zoom it a little bit. Perfect. Yes. Question 1 says, indicate the correct statement. When judgment is given on a different day from the day on which the case was heard, the words courier adversary vault will appear. Okay, the ADV vault, it's short for courier adversary vault. That is Latin. A, the words courier adversary vault means the court wishes to drop the charges. B, the words courier adversary vault also appear when a case is appealed to the higher court. C, the words courier adversary vault are always followed by the word posterior. D, after the words posterior, you see the date on which the case was heard. All right, now we have to choose the correct answer. My answer is option C, which I found on page 55 of the study guide. Let's just go and check it out. All right, I'll just read there. It says on the second paragraph, when judgment is given on a different day to the day on which the case was heard, the words courier adversary vault will appear. This is short for the Latin courier adversary vault, yes, which means the court wishes to consider the verdict. These words are followed by the word posterior, in which is the Latin for afterwards. So option C is the correct answer. There we have our option C right there. The words courier adversary vault are always followed by the word posterior. Okay, on the next questions, I'm not going to be reading everything and all that. I'm just going to read the question, pick out the correct answer, go to the guide to prove where I found the answer, and we go to the next question so that we can be able to save time. Second question, indicate the correct statement. Learning Unit 4, Communication and Litigation Skills is meant to. My answer is option B, which is on page 65. Deal with the transmission of messages between interlocutors in legal context. All right, this is page 65 of the study guide, and the answer is where I have highlighted right here. Yes. In this learning unit, you are exposed to a variety of aspects that relate to communication in law. Now, listen. Option B says deal with the transmission of messages between interlocutors in legal context. Interlocutors means taking part in a dialogue or a conversation. So this option here corresponds with the, you see how these sentences correspond, taking part in a dialogue or a conversation, and this sentence here says in this learning unit, you are exposed to a variety of aspects that relate to communication in law. So communication and conversation is one and the same thing. So that's why I chose this option B. Third question, which part of the Act sets out its purpose and often precedes the preamble? My answer is B, the long title, which is on page 45 of our study guide. Okay, that is supposed to be page 44, not 45. It says the long title of the Act is a piece printed in bold under the word Act. The long title of an act explains the purpose of the act. It further says, after, on page 45 now, below there, after the long title of the act, you will find the preamble. This means that we see here that after the long title comes the preamble. So this means that the long title comes before or it precedes the preamble. Perfect. Our answer in black and white, clear, crystal. Indicate the correct statement. In an action proceeding, when is a case officially started? The answer is B, when summons are issued out at the request of the plaintiff. The answer is on page 48 of our study guide. It says there, in action proceedings, the procedure is started by way of summons. 5. An important function of the court is to, the answer is A, which is to interpret legislation. I did not find that on the guide, but I'm sure it's somewhere there, but it's something that I automatically know. The courts do not, or the judiciary, it does not implement changes to legislation. Legislation are those acts that are made by Parliament, or the laws, case law, like, you know, stuff like that. Draft legislative changes, no, they do not do that. The courts do not make up laws, or they do not make up legislation. Their function is to interpret the legislation. I think you need to check that on your, check that out on your study guide. Which module? I think it's the CPD 1501 study guide. Yes, on page 50, I don't know, page 50 something. No, page 40. Start checking from page 40 something there, or just simply check or search the word separation of powers, or trias politica. That's where you are going to find all this. It's page 50 something. On page 50 you are going to find the definition of trias politica, or separation of powers. Then over there just check judiciary, which deals with the courts, and executive. Like, you're going to find everything there. Just read through, you're going to understand why I chose option A, which is interpret legislation. 6. Which statement is correct about the long title of an act of parliament? My answer is C, which it is in bold and explains the purpose of the act of parliament. Let's go to page 44 and check it out. The long title of the act is a piece printed in bold under the word act. That's it. Sorry, and it explains the purpose of the act. Guys, my mind is all over the place. I have an exam today, so I'm so messed up. The principle in South African law which determines that lower courts are bound, okay, you can see that clearly. Okay, sorry, I don't know how to do this so that I can be able to see the whole question, but it's only just one word which is cut off there. The principle in South African law which determines that lower courts are bound by the decisions of higher courts is known as the principle of. The answer is A, which is judicial precedent. If you Google that, you're going to find out why I chose this answer. And separation of powers deals with the three branches of the government, which is the executive, judiciary, and the what? And the what? I forgot it. I forgot the other one. So option B will not make it to this. The residency is the reason for a court's decision. It doesn't make it as well. And hierarchy of courts is the order in which courts what? I don't know. The order of courts, like the court, the first court, the lower court, the what can I say? How can I explain this? I don't know. Like, what is the lower court and what is the court which comes after the lowest, the second, the third, and you know, the hierarchy, not the hierarchy. If I say the hierarchy, I'm not making sense. Let me think about this. Okay, let me just say the magistrate courts, after the magistrate court, we can say that we have the high court. After the high court, we have the Supreme Court of Appeal. After that, we have the Constitutional Court. You know, yes, that is the hierarchy of courts. So they do not correspond with the decisions of courts. You know, sorry, they do not bound the decision of other courts. You know, so the correct answer is judicial precedent. Just Google it, you're going to find the correct meaning. I just don't know where to find it because I know it by heart, you know. Indicate the correct statement. Which of the following statements describe the function of a legal system? A. All of the options given are correct. Yes, that's what I choose as my answer. B. Conferral of obligations. B. Protection of fundamental human rights and freedoms. Yes. D. Maintenance of public order. Yes. So I chose that all these options are correct. 9. When students are setting up a space for study, it is important that the area has proper temperature. It includes all necessary supplies and resources. You can't be going up and down. You need to have everything that you need right here in one space, and has proper lighting. So my answer is option B, which says all the options are correct. That is on page 24 of the guide. You can just start reading from page 23 where it says the study environment. You're going to find everything there about the temperature, about the lighting, about everything. Can you see there? It says lighting and ventilation. It says below there temperature control as well. So you're going to find everything there. Just read through so that you get a full understanding of why I chose that all options are correct. All right, we move to the next question. A typical remedy in a civil law case would be C. Damages or compensation. In civil cases, I did not find this in the guide or anything. Like, I never just bothered to look it up myself. I just know it by heart that in a civil case, civil cases deal with money stuff. You know, maybe there was an accident and stuff. You need to compensate the other person for damaging their car and stuff like that, you know. But with criminal cases, that's where you go to prison. That's where you go to prison and, you know, stuff like that. So with civil cases, you need to pay damages or compensation. Simple. Let's move. The acronym AJA refers to a judge in the following court. My answer is B, Supreme Court of Appeal. To find this, you need to know what this acronym means. AJA. AJA means acting judge of appeal. So we know that appeals are made in the Supreme Court of Appeal, right? So that's why I chose that The answer is option B, which is Supreme Court of Appeal. 12. Indicate the correct statement. My correct statement is C. Presiding officers in the small claims courts are called commissioners. Yes. Let's check that out on page 98 of our guide. Guys, you need to excuse my recording app here. It's like, I don't know, it's bad. I know it has this sound that you can hear, but I don't know how to install the old app that I had, that I was using. IT guide's far from here, so I don't know what to do, but I know that you need this. It is important, so just bear with me and forgive me, please. Okay, small claims court commissioners. These commissioners are judicial officers employed in terms of legislation. Normally, persons appointed as small claims court commissioners are experienced advocates and attorneys. You can just read everything there, but we got our answer already. I guess you're happy. 13. During article reading, you should. The answer is A. You should skim read the article. Let's check that out on page 63 of our guide. Reading an article, skim read the article. Straightforward. Statute law refers to. My answer is C, which is on page 43 of our study guide. It says the body of laws created by Parliament in the form of legislation. Let's go to page 43. There, in black and white, an act of Parliament is also referred to as statute or legislation. Indicate the correct statement. When does an act of Parliament come into force? C. After it has been signed by the President and is published in the Government Gazette. Page 44 of our guide. I just chose this particular part here, but you can start reading from page 43 so that you can get the full gist of what's really going on there. I'm going to read where I've highlighted. Sometimes an act becomes effective on the same date as it is published in the Government Gazette. That's why I chose that option C. I could see that I'm getting crazy. Okay, the answer here, it needs to be option A, which says after it has been passed by Parliament and signed by the President. Let's go and see where I found it. There, in green, this part here. Yes, this part here. Before an act can be published, it must be signed by the President after Parliament has approved it. Yes, this is the most correct 100% answer. The answer is option A. I'm sorry about that. As I mentioned earlier, I am so messed up because I have an exam today. Alright, indicate the correct statement. When interpreting statute, the judges may may apply certain presumptions in order to determine the intention of Parliament. Which one of the following is a valid presumption? Let's find this on page 46. Alright, it says here legislation is presumed not to contain meaningless sections. Every word and phrase therefore is presumed to have meaning. Legislation is presumed not to change existing laws unless it states so explicitly. It is presumed that legislation does not intend unreasonable or unfair consequences. Legislation is presumed to apply to future events only and not act retrospectively. I will have to go with option A here after reading there, but honestly I am not really sure what's the correct answer here. You just need to look it up yourself and decide, because I am undecided about this one, but I'll have to go with option A. But I'm just not sure about it. I'll have to be honest with that one. Which court cannot set precedent? The magistrate court cannot bind or make decisions, or for higher courts, you know, the hierarchy of courts. So this is the hierarchy of courts that I was talking about. Like the high court cannot use a decision or cannot be bound by a decision which was made in the magistrate court, or you know, the court of appeal or the constitutional court. It cannot take a decision which was made by, or maybe it cannot be bound by a decision which was made by a lower court. I'm not sure if I'm making sense here, but that's what I'm trying to say. So my answer is A, which is the magistrate court, because it is the lowest in the hierarchy of courts, or in the ranks of courts which are mentioned here. Which of the following focuses on individual offenders and emphasizes the possibility of changing their behavior? D, rehabilitation. Everyone knows this by heart. I did not check it in the guide. I don't even know if it's there or not. But if you can look up the meaning of retribution, you can look up the meaning of deterrence, you can look up, or you don't even have to look up the meaning of revenge. You know it, like, it's common sense. So they do not correspond with what the statement is saying, or changing someone's behavior positively. So option D is the best option among all these options mentioned here. Maybe I should just say that just look up the word rehabilitation, or also go to your SJD. That's where you're going to find a lot about these terms which are pointed out here or outlined in these options here. And also look at your CMY 1501 study guide and 1502 study guide. This is where these terms are mostly used and explained in a wider, you know, so that you can get a full meaning of everything. 21. When police have a good reason to believe a suspect has been involved in a crime, they have C, a probable cause. Yes, you can just check it out on the internet, it's there. All right, next question. Which of these is a defining characteristic of democracy? A, the rulers govern in the interest of the ruled. That's what democracy is all about. Am I correct? Just check that on your CPD study guide where they talk about democracy. This is where I found it. And also you can look it up on your constitutional law prescribed book. It's also there as well, where they discuss about democracy. I might be wrong, but all these other options here, they don't just make sense to me, do they? I don't know what you think. 23. Howdy hires a motor mechanic to repair his damaged car. The repair work is faulty and causes a major damage to Howdy's car. Who must prove negligence in this scenario, and what is the standard of proof? The answer is option D, which says Khahudi, or is Khahudi? I was busy saying Khahudi. Khahudi. On the balance of probabilities. Yes. If you want to understand more about the balance of probabilities, you need to check that on your CRW 1501 study guide, because but for more information, just try to get the CRW 2601 study guide. That's where most of the information is explained in full detail. Who brings a criminal case to court? The prosecutor. The prosecutor. Okay, I don't know what I was saying, but the main point is to know that the prosecutor represent the state, or it represents the state in a court of law. I don't know, but I just want to use the word behalf of the state, but I don't know how to construct the sentence. But it is in your study guide. I just forgot the page, but you're going to find it there. Just check where they talk about all right. This one is a bit blurry, but we can read. What is the rule of law? Option D says everyone must follow the law. So the rest of the options, option A, everyone by the president must follow the law. All laws must be the same as in every state. Government does not have to follow the law. Those are out of question and meaningless. So the correct option is option D, everyone must follow the law. Yes. Indicate the correct statement. 26. The answer is D, which is on page 59. A South African court typically orders the losing party in a case to pay the legal costs of the successful party. Yes, you can find that on page 59 of the guide. I'm not going to go there because I simply found this on the internet. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember the website, but I was reading somewhere, then I found this. So yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm rushing now. I had to be something by 11:30, and it's way over 11:30 now. Indicate the correct statement. The following holds true for meaningful education. The answer is B. Am I correct? 27. Yes, the answer is B. Yes, you need to check on page 18 of the study guide. B says dialogue is essential for learning. Interacting or discussing with fellow students or the teacher, sharing ideas and thus engaging in dialogue. Yay. What's this? Learning is a core element of education. This is where I found it. It starts on page 17 and on page 18, where I found the last point corresponding with the second option of question 27. Yes, the dialogue is essential for learning. All right, 28. Indicate the correct statement. You ask a co-worker if they can help you with a client. They cross their arms and roll their eyes but do not say anything. Have they communicated? Yes, they have, and they used non-verbal communication. That is option A, because if you look at the other options there, it just doesn't make sense, do they? They do not correspond. Sort of, you won't really know until they say until they answer, though they're not saying anything. So that's out of the question. We put that in the bin. C, no, but they are being rude. An attorney who deals with transfer of immovable property. What the hell? What's this nonsense? D, no, when they answer you, they will have communicated back, completing to wait. Nah, that's out of the question as well. Yes, the answer, they have communicated. They have used non-verbal communication. That is option A, and you can look that up on page 66 of the guide here. 29. A prosecutor must often decide whether or. My answer is A, file charges, because when I look at the other options, they just do not, you know, correspond with the statement. Option C says impose sentences, and we know that sentences are imposed by judges and not the prosecutor, so we throw that out. That falls away automatically. Then punish for disciplinary infractions. Prosecutors do not punish anyone. That also falls away, because when you look up at the disciplinary infractions, it talks about, or it has to do with grievous bodily harm or damage to property, like malicious damage, or like it's just something which is pretty bad, you know. So option A fits. I don't know what to think, but yeah, that's my opinion. 30, the last one. I do have a lot of questions. There are many. They are really many. I'm referring to, like, this is the, maybe you can just, that this is the first 50 questions. I also have another set of 50 questions and another set of 50 questions as well, but due to time we cannot make it, so I decided to end on question 31, but to stop, not to end. What kind of English am I talking now? I decided to stop at question 31, but I'm hoping that we could maybe try to continue by tomorrow, you know, do another set of 30. Yeah, I think we might get somewhere with that, and we need to do some questions based on calculations, so that you know how to do those calculations when you meet those kind of questions, or when you come across those kind of questions on the exam. So yeah, 30 says indicate the correct statement. Which of the following behaviors are part of active listening? My answer is option D. Yes. Nodding and making eye contact. Yes, it falls in. We put that in. Asking for clarification. Yes. Being open-minded. Yes. I found this on page, I don't remember. Where did I find this? Let me check it out. All right, on page 72 of our study guide, we have what is a good listener. Yes, there's our first point there. A good listener keeps eye contact. What's our second point? I mean option. The nodding part, asking for clarification, and being open-minded. Okay. Let's see. There we have our nodding, which still falls part on option A. An example in this regard would, for instance, be a nodding. Yes. And okay, I did not highlight the others. I cannot find them, but they are here. Let me see. There, he seeks clarification where there is any misunderstanding or signs that there is coherence in what. Yes. And there's our last option. A good listener must be open-minded. So that's why I chose the last option, which says that all options are correct, because we have all the options available here on page 72 under the subheading which says what is a good listener. Let's get to our last question, question 31. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to continue, but I'm really hoping that we do. If we can have like 2 more videos, we would have like covered 90 screenshots. Yeah. All right, when judgment is given on a different day from the day on which the case was heard, This one, it's a repetition. I think the system was somehow confused itself. All right, our answer here has to be C. The words courier adversary vowels are always followed by the word posterior. That's supposed to be our answer, and it's on page 55 of our study guide. All right, guys, that'll be the end of it. Hopefully tomorrow I'm going to have 2 more videos. I just hope and pray that I won't be busy, I won't be tired from my exam later in the day. I'm writing around 2 today, so yeah, I wish you luck on your SCL exams on Monday the 20th, and just be on the lookout for the 2 more videos that are still to come. And please, guys, don't be selfish. Share this video or share this link. Yes, share this link with many numerous hundreds of students. We need to all pass, right?